teachers and fellow classmates. Today we are going to tell you the story of
The Woodman and the Serpent.
yes, and we use the Kamishibai. It is very popular in Japan. They used to tell a story to children. Okay. Let us introduce ourselves. My name is Sophie.
My name is
My name is Kesa. Yes.
Okay, let's start.
Yes, and today we will tell you the story about the Woodman and the Serpent. One day in the winter time, while the peasant was going back home from his work, he saw a black living thing that was lying on the snow was going to die. When he walked into it, he saw it was a serpent. He sympathized that serpent, so he decided to help it by taking it to his home, and then laid it down on the hearth before the fire. The peasant's daughter looked at it skeptically. After a few minutes, the serpent came to life again. Then the daughter raised her little hand to stroke it, but the serpent raised its head, put its fangs, and then tried to bite the daughter. As the peasant saw that, he was shocked, and then used his sickle to cut the serpent into 2 parts. No gratitude from the wicked.
Months later, the peasant felt so bad with himself. He thought that he should not trust anyone who he had just met, and he had to think of the natural instinct of wild animals like a snake. So, from that time on, he had never trusted anyone anymore. But fortunately, when he felt sad, he had his best friend who always beside him. They had taken care of each other for a long time, since the peasant was a baby. One day, when the peasant went back from the field, he saw his best friend was going to bite his little daughter. He got angry and suddenly used his log to beat the old dog. The dog got hurt so much, and his blood was bleeding out of his body. He loudly moaned and cried. He wondered why the peasant hit him and asked the peasant, "Why did you beat me? What did I do wrong?"
The peasant angrily replied, "I see everything. You are trying to bite my daughter. Why did you do that? We are best friends, right? You betray me. The dog tried to tell the truth. Then he tried to help the daughter, who was going to be bitten by the cruel snake. When the peasant heard the truth, he looked around. He saw the dead snake in the front of his own daughter, and also the blood in his best friend's mouth. Because the peasant realized that he was wrong, he felt very guilty. He couldn't stand his bad feeling any longer. He ran out of his house, burst into tears, until he fell asleep. After he woke up, he came back home and sincerely apologized to the dog. Since then, they live happily with his best friend. A lack of trust in a relationship can bring the destruction.
The third version. Two years later, in the winter time, when the dog went for a walk in the forest, he met a very cute female wolf. He immediately and unconditionally fell in love with her physical appearance without realizing her real personality. He felt quite happy every time he talked to her, and the picture of the wolf's cute face was still in his mind all the time. At that time, there is not enough food to eat because the snow covered every inch of the jungle. Lots of wild animals died because of starvation. The wolves who live in the jungle had to face this kind of tough situation like the others. When the wolf's heart was full of fear that she would die, she planned to steal some food from the peasant's house. By taking advantage of the incident that happened with the peasant and the dog 2 years ago, she thought that her plan would surely work because the old dog had told her he felt very angry and enraged that the peasant never trusted on him, or at least thought before doing that. The tricky wolf said she would lure the man to get out of his house and then steal some food. The actual time of their plan came. The wolf lured the man to get out of his house, and then the dog would get into the house and then steal some food. The dog rushed into the kitchen of the peasant's house and then grabbed the only little bag of rice and the only bunch of bread. And while he was going to escape, the daughter screamed due to astonishment. The dog, who was blinded by love, was scared, and then he used his lock to beat the daughter until she died. After the peasant knew his daughter was dead, he got angry and his face turned red. The peasants used the closest farmer's tool that he could reach, that is a sickle, to cut the dog's head and then skewer it to the wall in front of his house. The moral lesson: birds of a feeder flock together. That means when you belong to any group, you will assimilate your attitude or your behavior to the people in that group คือคบคนพาลพาลไปหาสิ่ง